Om Shuklam Brahmavichara Paramamadyam Jagadvyapiniim Veena Pustakadharineem Abhayadam Jadyandhakarapaham Haste Spatikamalikam Vidadhatim Padmasane Samsthitam Vandetam Parameshwarim Bhagavatim Buddhipradam Sharadam. So now you've learnt many important grammatical points already in the past. We'll start with the letter today, and I learned that I can actually draw the letter here. Of course, most of you, I think, know Devanagari. Ka, ga. Not so well done here. Right, you all know Devanagari. Not so nicely drawn, but one can remember this letter. It looks a little bit like an elephant's trunk in the front, and this letter is related to Ganesha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So one can remember the letter based on the form of Ganesha. And now some of the meanings of Ga. Ga, as I said, is a name of Ganesha, and it also refers to the river Ganga and to Gauri, Gauri being a name of Parvati. It also means Gatha. Gatha is a type of song, a very melodious ceremonial song that is sung in the context of the Vedic rituals. I don't know if you have ever heard a Samavedic chant. The Samaveda is a very special type of chant where the voice is vibrated. This is totally different from later the Sangeet, of course, which is also highly complex, but the Samavedic singing, the proper Samavedic singing, is highly complex and has 16 different vibrational notes in the voice. So very few people, if any, still know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. And that is called a Gatha. Another meaning of the letter Ga is all-pervading. Another meaning is Sarva Siddhi, all accomplishment, to have all kinds of capacities, all types of abilities. Another meaning is Prabha, which means luminous light. And another meaning is Shiva Darshana, the vision of Shiva. So a very special letter. Then it means Gita, a song. Vidya, knowledge. And Nandana, which means delighting, joyful. And it also means heart, Hridaya. As well as Jnana, knowledge. And Jalandhara, which is one of the 4 seats of power, Shakti Pitas, the 4 most powerful places dedicated to Shakti, the divine goddess, the divine mother. The 4 are Jalandhara, Odhyana, Purnagiri, and Kamarupa. So these are a few meanings of the syllable Ga. And just to give you an idea how one could use these syllables, if you think about my name being Vidya, Bhaskara, meaning the son of knowledge, all you would need to do is, you would need to find a letter that refers to the sun, and then you have Ga, which means Vidya. So I'm just finding one that is related to the sun. Here we go. So the letter Lri is related to the sun. So now we have Ga and Lri. So we can say Glri. Instead of saying Vidya Bhaskara, you can just call me Glri. And this is of course funny, but this is used in the scriptures sometimes as a code, kind of as a very special code word. And you can do the same with your names. So let us go back to our texts. I hope that you use your time at home a little to practice. Now I'm very much aware that the COVID is over soon. Then we have to think, will we still do online sessions? Because people might feel after all this time of doing online sessions that they need a break from the screen, and perhaps we can do some local meetings in the UK or elsewhere, and once in a while also meet online. So I will try to share my screen. Okay, I think this is better. Yeah. So here you have a story. Don't be afraid of it, even though it may seem that you don't know everything. Ganga tire Abhiya nama sadhu nari udyogena Shri Krishna darshana kamena tapah karoti sma. Now don't be afraid of the story. We just go step by step and you will see how much you actually understand of it. So let's start with the first word, Ganga tire. And if possible, as many of you as possible should try to engage. So Mahalakshmiji is always very engaged. If you can, the others also try to engage. What case is this? On this side, you see the 7 cases of the word Rama, and also of Radha and Devi. And Palam is like Rama, except for these 2 forms. We say Palam Pale Palani, Palam Pale Palani, and the rest is exactly like Rama. And Tiram is like Palam. So now if you have Ganga Tire, what case is it? That's the first thing you always ask in Sanskrit. What case is it? Over. Yeah. Here you see the numbers of the cases. Yeah? Anyone? 7. It's 7-1, right? It's the 7th case and it's singular. The first column refers to singular, second column to dual, third column to plural. So, and then of course comes the question, do you know the meaning of tira? Probably. Ganga tire.
River bank, Ganga's bank.
Yes, and then 7-1, how will you translate?
In the bank of river or by the bank of river.
On I think in English we say on the bank, right? I'm not sure. Is it on the bank or on the shore of the river Ganga? And this is called a compound, samasa. So slowly, if we continue online, we have to see, slowly, you have to learn to understand how compounds work in Sanskrit. Because other languages except German don't really have compounds. So in English, you can say, you can't really say the Ganga bank. You could. The Thames bank, the Thames shore, as one word. You could say it. People would understand. But in English, you would rather say on the shore of the Thames, right? Or on the bank of the Thames. So in English, you write it out. Whereas in Sanskrit, we have what is called a samasa, a compound, and we put it together. So Ganga tire would be Gangayah tire. If you look at Radha, Ganga is like Radha. Gangayah, Radhayah tire. On the banks of the Ganga. But to make it simpler, Ganga tire. All right, and then we have Abhiya nama sadhu nari. So this should be quite simple, but first consider what case is Abhiya. Abhiya is like Radha.
3-1.
Careful.
1-1.
No, I understand. Yes, it is 1-1. But I understand, Mahalakshmiji, why you said 3-1. I understand, because it looks like Radhaya. That is right. But here, that would be the case if the word were Abha.
Abha.
You see, then Abha would become Abhaya in the third case. But here, the word is Abhaya. Okay? So it is 1-1. And
I think I need to look one word ahead also, isn't it, to join the context?
Not always. Sometimes you just mostly you can just know from the form of the word.
Right, okay.
So then we have nama. Nama is simple. Nama means name. And it is used in this way, Abhaya nama, named Abhaya. With the name Abhaya. So if I want to say that there is a lady in the UK with the name of Mahalakshmi, then I will say, UK deshe Mahalakshmi nama sadhu nari, or just nari asti. I don't know if she's sadhu. So I hope so. So Abhaya nama, and then sadhu nari. What case is it? Now this is like, it's like Devi. So what case?
Nominative singular.
It's again nominative singular. So 1-1, yeah. And nari, the meaning, do you know?
A woman.
A woman. And then we have sadhu. And sadhu, of course, in modern Indian languages, usually refers to a sadhu, like a saintly person who wears the orange dress, or other types of dresses for sadhus. But in Sanskrit, the word sadhu just means good or noble. And in ancient times, very often people used to say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu when something was good. And this might be interesting for you. If you go to northern Thailand, when something is excellent, when something is very, very well done, people still say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I was very surprised by that, because this sadhu, 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 this formula can be found all the way in the Ramayana. That means somehow, mysteriously, a formula from the Ramayana times has made it all the way to northern Thailand, even though we don't use it in India anymore. But sadhu nari therefore just means what? If sadhu means noble and nari means lady?
Noble lady.
A noble lady, right? And then we have udyogena. So now again, if you've learned the cases by heart, which you should, then you would know udyogena is like
3-1.
3-1.
Ramena.
It's like Ramena. And any idea what udyoga means? I have been told that udyoga in Gujarati means business. And that's actually very funny, because udyoga in Sanskrit means a great effort. And Gujaratis only make a great effort at business, right? So maybe that's why they have equated the meaning udyoga with the meaning of business. Could that be the reason? I'm just joking. So then what does udyogena mean?
By very good effort.
Yes, with very good effort. Shri Krishna Darshana Kamena. Now this is a very long compound. But still, it should be easy to understand it because you know all the words. You know Shri Krishna, you know Darshana, and you know Kamena. And what you have to identify is the case of the word Kamena. What case is it?
One.
Again, 3-1, right? So, Kama means? Desire. And then you read it from the back. So, with the desire.
Krishna, Shri Krishna,
Darshana. So, how would you translate it then? With the desire?
To seek darshan of Lord Krishna.
Exactly. Yes. So again, to explain how compounds work, the reason I'm already working on compounds with you is that the reality is Sanskrit is the language of compounds. So you see, we could spend lots of time on other verb forms, other tenses, other this and that, but actually Sanskrit is the language of compounds. If you try to read any Sanskrit text, within a few seconds you will meet a compound. So if you don't know how to read compounds, if you learn about compounds only in 3 years, then you will never be able to understand a lot of Sanskrit. So I prefer to start with compounds early on. So very good. Shri Krishnasya Darshanaya Kamena. With the desire for the darshan of Shri Krishna. And what did she do? Tapah karoti. Now, tapah. This is special. Tapah is not like Rama, it is not like Radha, it is not like Devi, and it is not like Palam. This is a separate category which I haven't listed for you here. This is the S-ending words. The word is actually tapas. Like the word is also rajas or manas. There are S-ending words in Sanskrit. And they are neuter, like palam. And neuter words, in the second case, let me see if I can actually open palam for you. One moment, so that you see that. Here we go. Yes, so here you see palam. And these you should really learn by heart. You know, the Ramaha and Devi and Radha and palam. Because these are the basic principles. After this, it sort of becomes easier to understand. So you see, the palam, the neuter ending words, are always the same in the first two cases. Palam pale palani, palam pale palani. Similarly, tapah, which in the first case becomes tapah, tapas is the word, and it becomes tapah, is also the same in the second case. So tapah karoti then means what? Sorry, now I have changed I'm not so good at this. Sharing of the screen. Here, I got it again. Yes, now we have it. So, Shri Krishna Darshana Kamena Tapah Karoti. What does it mean?
Perform tapas.
She performs tapas. Exactly. And tapas has very interesting meaning. It actually means heat. And the reason is that when we engage in spiritual sadhana, this is the case in every type of sadhana. If one really does it properly, usually there is a heat which we experience through the sadhana. There is always some heat. This is related to a spot that is below the navel. It is like it's related to the Nabhi chakra, the navel chakra, Manipura chakra, but it is not just the chakra. It is more than that. It is the place where our subtle channels or nadis come together. And there at that spot, when we engage in sadhana, there is a heat that becomes active. So it is very subtle science, and all sadhakas experience this. In Tibet, there are such sadhakas that they meditate so strongly that they can melt ice just with the heat that is generated. I don't know if I can do that, but I also know that the heat happens, it occurs. So that is why tapas is called tapas, because it is actually a generation of heat. Now, would anyone like to try the translation of the sentence? We have all the ingredients. Ganga tire abhaya nama sadhu nari udyogena Shri Krishna darshana kamena tapah karoti. Please try to be very literal.
Can I try?
Please try.
Can I try?
Please, please.
On the bank of Ganga, river Ganga, a noble lady named Abhiya is doing, with a great effort, she is doing the tapas with the desire to get the darshan of the Sri Krishna.
Very good, exactly. Excellent, very good. And all of you, this is exactly how you should translate. You should abide very literally by the grammar, you see? And then later, when you are all Sanskrit experts, and really, if you have some discipline, you can become a Sanskrit expert through a class like this, even though we're doing it only every 2-3 weeks. Because I have students here in Switzerland who have been learning for 3-4 years, exactly in the way we're learning now. And now I would say, maybe not experts, but they are quite good at Sanskrit. Quite good. So it is possible. And it is after you have become an expert at Sanskrit that you can translate freely. You understand? First, you should do it like Mahalakshmi did right now. You should be very literal. And then, when you are an expert, then you can become more free. Yeah, you can become more sort of flexible in your way of translating. Now we have Jana Hasanti. And here I have introduced a Visarga Sandhi. So far, we have not talked about sandhis so much. You have learned vowel sandhis, but not visarga sandhis. Here, what has happened is, the word is actually janaha. And janaha is exactly like ramaha. You see, where is the Rama chart? Here. It is exactly like ramaha. Oh dear. Must be some other way to do this. It's like Ramaha, but because a soft consonant, ha, is a soft one, whereas, for example, ka is a strong one. When a soft consonant follows, then the visarga, it vanishes. This is called lopa, to vanish. And then it is just jana hasanti. So if we had Ramaha, it would be Rama hasanti. So this is Janaha Hasanti. What does that mean? This should be easy. Janaha Hasanti.
People laugh.
The people laugh. What do they laugh about? Sa sundari alasa asti. Go very literally.
Sa means she or
Yes.
wo.
Yes.
Wo Sundari, the beautiful lady.
Mm-hmm.
Alasa, I'm thinking it's the laziness.
It means lazy, yes. And asti is clear. Yeah.
That beautiful lady is being lazy.
Is being lazy, exactly. Very good. And then we have a second part of the sentence. Someone else would like to try. Ganga tire, we already had. Bhikshuni iva vasati. So the new word here is iva. Iva means like, jaise, like. And vasati, that you should be able to understand. Would someone like to try? Ganga tire, yes?
So near the banks of the river Ganga, the vasati is like lives or hangs about.
Yeah.
A bhikshu is like so someone who seeks bhiksha, like not a homeless person, but someone who.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So then, and Iva, like, right? So that beauty or that beautiful lady is lazy or is being lazy. She lives on the Ganga like a beggar. Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Excellent.
Acharya-ji, Bhikshuni means original word is Bhikshu, right?
Yes, yes.
So Bhikshuni, is it because it's a she, that's why?
Yes, yes, yes. Like Devi, Bhikshuni.
Okay. All right. But this is not, I am a bit confused at Bhikshuni's case in the Devi chart. I mean, which...
Well, if you have a look, which case, what options do you have? Bhikshuni.
Sorry, I think I'm struggling there. Bhikshuni, I mean, is it the original word is Bhikshu or?
No, Bhikshuni is the original word.
Oh, Bhikshuni is the original word. Okay. Then it's Devi, then 1-1.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I was thinking Bhikshu is the original word and we are just adding something like that there.
Well, original, or you can say Bhikshu is the masculine form of the word and Bhikshuni is the feminine form.
Oh.
Like Sundara and Sundari. But we can't really say that Sundari is derived from Sundara. It's not like that, right? So it is, Sundari is simply the feminine form and Sundara is the masculine form. Similarly, Bhikshuni is the feminine and Bhikshu is the masculine.
Thank you.
All right. And then the iti here always refers to the end of someone's speech. So what is the speech? Janaha hasanti, the people laugh. And then this is what they laugh about, right? This is what they say, that this beautiful lady is being lazy. She lives on the on the Ganga shores like a beggar. And then the story continues. Ekadine tatra rajyasya nripah agachati. So go very literally. Maybe someone else can try. Ekadine.
One day.
One day. And what case is it? Dinam is like palam.
7-1.
7-1. So to express time and dates, we always use the 7-1. So the seventh case has the meaning of where and also when, in the sense of where and whereupon, in what. So one day, tatra, does anyone know the meaning of tatra?
There.
There. Rajyasya, what case is it? Rajyam is like palam.
It's the Rajasya.
It's like palam.
6.
Yes,
1.
that's correct.
6-1.
6-1. And then nripah is like Rama. So it's very simple. It is just 1-1. So we have ekadine tatra rajyasya nripah agachati. Quite simple. Who would like to try the translation?
Can I?
I can give a go.
Yeah, please try.
One day the king of the kingdom came.
Yeah. There. Tatra. Very good. Yeah. Excellent. And now the story continues. Abhayayai vadati. So remember, Abhaya is like Radha. So what case? And ideally, as I always say, 4-1, yes. So ideally, as I always say, you should all learn these by heart. Then it comes like in your dream. You instantly know, Abhayayai, of course, it is the fourth case. You don't have to think about it. You don't need the charts. And what does the king do? Abhayayai vadati. Vadati is the verb, so it means to speak. Abhayayai vadati, therefore means he. Anyone?
The king spoke to Abhiya.
Speaks to Abhiya, exactly. Spoke to Abhiya. He putri, grihamagacha. Now, he, you know from Hindi as well, and I don't know any South Indian languages, but I assume they are similar. He putri. Now, putri is interesting because you don't find putri here. Putri with a short e. The reason is that this is called the Sambhotana. Sambhotana is the vocative when you address someone. Then it takes a different form, and in Paninian Sanskrit grammar, we do not list this as a case. So I always mentioned this to you in the past already. We don't say that it is a case, but you still should be able to recognize it. He putri. So putri is from putri, like Devi. So if we say he Devi, it is also a short e, not a long e. We don't say he Devi, we say he Devi. Similarly, he putri. What does it mean?
Daughter,
Yeah. Griham agacha.
come home.
Come home. And what case would griham be? It's like palam. If you think about to the home, it is the second case, even though the form is the same. Griham, grihe, grihani, griham, grihe, grihani. But in this case, it is the object of the movement of going. So where does she go? Home. Therefore, griham agacha. He says, come home. Kimartham atra vasasi. Kimartham atra vasasi. Any idea what kim artham could be?
What is the meaning?
Reason? What reason?
For what reason? For what purpose? For what reason? Atra?
There or
No. Tatra. Tatra is there and atra is here.
here?
And then vasasi is like vasati, but vasasi is for you. Tvam vasasi. So he's asking her, kimartham atra vasasi.
Why are you living here?
That's right. Why are you living here? Very good. Tvam sundari kanyasi. Now here I have left the sandhi for you to see. Now remember, vowel sandhi. What two words are these?
Kanya plus asi?
Exactly.
Asi.
Kanya asi. So remember, if you don't know Sandhi, it is impossible to translate Sanskrit. Since if you would think Kanyasi, Kanyasi, what kind of verb could that be? And then you look it up in dictionaries, you find nothing. There is no verb as Kanyasi, right? So the reason is simply it is Kanya asi. Very important to start with the Sandhi. Then you think of the cases. Then you think of the meaning. This is always the sequence we follow. Sandhi, cases, meaning. And then we have Tvam, Sundari, Kanya, Asi. Quite a simple sentence. What does it mean?
You beautiful lady.
Kanya is a daughter or girl. It's a young girl. Kanya is a girl under the age of 16. So we will say, you, Tvam Asi, you are a beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl.
A young, beautiful girl. And then he continues. Now this is quite a long sentence, so you have to pay close attention. Sundarasya Rajakumarasya Patni Bhutva Sukena Dharmabhyasena Vasishyasi. This is not so easy now. And there is one form here which you don't know yet. Bhutva. This is the Tvaa ending form. This is the new grammar information for today. This is the form we use, like in Hindi, when we say karke or khake jao. After eating, go. Udhar jaakar laut jaiye. Right? So the karke form, having done something, in Sanskrit becomes Tvaa. So you take the verb bhu and then you just add Tvaa to it, and then it means hokar. Or in this case, slightly different, but you will see the meaning. So bhu means to be, banjana also, it means to become also. And then bhutva means bankar, having become. Sundarasya rajakumarasya. What are the cases of this? Maybe someone else can try. This is like Rama. Sundarasya rajakumarasya. Yes?
6-1.
That's right. And again, the second one as well. Very good. So, and then Patni. It's like Devi.
Yeah.
What case is it?
1.1.
1.1. So we have, and Patni, you understand the meaning? The wife. And now Bhutva I just explained, right? Having become, it means having become. So now, Sundarasya Rajakumarasya Patni Bhutva. How would you translate?
सुंदर राजकुमार की पत्नी बनकर.
Very good. Exactly, in Hindi. Exactly. In English, it would be having become the wife of a handsome prince, right? Or Rajakumar, a handsome prince. So this is the first part of the sentence. So having become that, and if anyone's not understanding, please let me know. Just tell me you're not understanding, then I can explain it. And then the second part, Sukina Dharma Abhyasena Vasishyasi. Now the form of the verb, so far you know Vasati and Vasasi. When we add Ishya in the middle, here is the root. Vasa means to stay or to dwell. And when we add Ishya in between, and then we have si, it becomes the future tense. We talked about this in the past, but I don't know who has learnt it by heart. So just a reminder, whenever you find Ishyati and Ishyasi, it's always the future. Now, but first, Sukena is like Palam, Sukham, Sukena.
3-1.
3-1. And Sukham means?
Joy.
Joy. So then Sukhena means?
Joy of.
With joy, with joy. So the third case has the meaning of with and through. With joy. And then we have Dharma Bhyasena. So now careful. Don't jump to the meaning. First think of Sandhi. What is the Sandhi?
Dharma Abhyasena.
Very good. Dharma Abhyasena. And then you think of the meaning. No, then you think of the case. What is the case? Abhyasena. It's like Rama.
3.1.
Again 3.1. So, and you know, with time, I don't have to ask you this anymore, because with time, all of you will just know the case, right? Then we don't have to ask anymore what is the case, especially these very simple ones. With time, these should be pakka, you know? So, but now you have to think of what could be the meaning of Dharma Abhyasena.
With the practice of Dharma.
Exactly, exactly. And then we have Vasishyasi, which I explained is the future tense of Vasasi. So you will dwell, you will live. So what is the king saying? Tvam sundari Kanya asi. Sundarasya Rajakumarasya patni bhutva sukhena dharma abhyasena vasishyasi. Who would like to try the long sentence? Arunaji already said, Sundar Rajkumar ki patni bankar. Now, Sukhena Dharma Bhyasena Vasishyasi.
So, with the practice of Dharma, you will become the the wife of a handsome prince and attain, is it?
Yeah, it's very clever. The idea is clever, but careful. Bhutva, bankar, that tells us, having become, that tells us that the first part comes first. You understand?
Okay.
So she should first become the wife of a handsome prince, and through that, Sukena Dharma Abhyasena Vasishyasi.
Having become the wife of the prince, you enjoy practicing Dharma.
Yeah, something like that. But if we go very literally,
you will dwell in enjoying practicing Dharma.
Yes, so you will dwell practicing Dharma joyfully, Sukena. What he means to say is that on the bank of the Ganga, she's doing all this tapa, she's begging, she's meditating so long, you understand? And but the king is saying, my daughter, come home. For what purpose are you doing, are you living here? You're such a beautiful girl. Having become the wife of a handsome prince, you can live practicing Dharma happily, joyfully, easily. You understand? Is it clear? Sukena vasishyasi. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Moreover, he says, suvarnadanihi Janan Sukhi Karishyasi. Now here you have
donating, by donating the gold.
Yes, by donating gold. Yes. So this is which case? This is the Suvarna Danihi is like Palam, Suvarna Danam, and Danehi is which case? 3-3. So then, Mahalakshmiji, how would we translate a 3-3 Danam? Suvarna Danihi.
Suvarna Dani. Sorry, Suvarna means gold by
donating.
By donating gold to Jana.
Yes.
People happy.
Yes. So Himaji already said that, but you see, I'm trying to point out that it is not just by donating, it is actually danehi in the plural here, plural. So then we would translate very literally with gifts of gold, not just by donating. You see, if we go very literally, then we will say with gifts of gold, not just one gift. It is not just one time donating. It is many times giving gold, right? You understand? Danehi, because being a princess, being the wife of the Rajkumar, she will have access to the gold, and then she can make gifts of gold, not just a one-time gift. That would be Suvarna Danena. You understand?
Right. Okay. Now I understood.
That's why we have to go very literal in Sanskrit. Through gifts of gold, or with gifts of gold, Janan is, you already said, is the Raman, right? It's 2-3. Sukhi karishyasi. Someone already said it. You will make people happy. So sukhi karoti means to make someone happy. And sukhi karishyasi is the future tense. You will make people happy with gifts of gold. And then the king continues, Tena, through that, tava, your, punyam, vikasishyati. Now you have to be a little creative. You might not know vikasati, but I'm sure from some Hindi, Gujarati, Telugu, you must be able to guess what it means.
Blooming?
Yes, blooming, exactly. It means blooming.
Blooming?
Yes. So, through that, your punyam will
multifold.
It will bloom, right? So, Himaji, you said it will bloom or it will blossom. Vikasishyati. And punyam here is like palam, it is 1-1. So, I think someone wrote something in the chat, but I don't know how to open the chat. All right. So tena tava punyam vikasishyati. Through that, your punya will blossom. So someone asks, what are the roots, meanings of the roots of the word suvarna and sukha? Yes, so it is, Bhavnishaji is a linguist, so I'll go very quickly. Suvarna, the prefix su means anything good, auspicious, beautiful. It is related to the Greek prefix oi. So now, for instance, if you have, I'm trying to give a good example. The word rhythmia in Greek becomes oirhythmia. So oirhythmia, a good rhythm. And there are other examples of that in Greek. So su becomes oi in Greek. And varna means color. So suvarna is that which has the beautiful color. Therefore, it means gold. And then sukha, sukhi comes from sukha. And I believe I gave a long session on the meanings of sukha once before, but you may not have attended. So ka means space. Sukha means to have good space. Literally, it means to have good, nice space. And that is the definition of happiness in Sanskrit, is to have a lot of space. Because when you have no space, it is dukkha. Duh is the Greek dus, which means bad, negative. So dukkha means bad space, no space, narrow space. When you don't have a lot of space, you're unhappy. And ka also refers to the senses, and the mind. So when the mind and the senses are su, when they are pleasant, then it is sukham. It is good space. Does that help you, Bhavnishaji?
That's brilliant. I love that meaning.
Okay. And did you do Greek, Bhavnishaji?
Yes, yeah. I was thinking eudaimon is another word.
Yes, exactly.
We've got you before it.
Exactly. And dus is the other one, right? Like this, dus in Greek. Dus is dus in Sanskrit. So like you say, do you say dissymmetrical? No.
Dystopia.
Dystopia, exactly. So I love the linguists, by the way. I'm also kind of a linguist, but not a proper one. But I love the linguists because it's so interesting. We can spend the whole weekend, we can spend the whole week discussing things like this. It's so interesting. All right, but then he says, punyena eva harim gamishyasi. So first he says, through that your punya will blossom. Punyena eva harim gamishyasi. Eva, remember, is like the Hindi he. What case is punyena? This should be simple now.
Like Ramena.
Like Ramena, like Palena. So, punyena eva, punya se hi. With the punya, harim gamishyasi. Now, I still haven't sent you the E ending ones, but they are like Rama, similar. So, hari is the first one and harim is the second case. And gamishyasi. Now, this is sort of an exception. The present tense is gacchati, but the future is gamishyasi. This is because the root of the word is gam, to go. And gam in the present tense is replaced by gach, whereas in the future tense it stays in the root form. Therefore it is gamishyasi, which means you will go, you will reach. So what is the king saying? Punyena eva harim gamishyasi.
With punya only, you can go to Hari, that is Vishnu.
That's right. So the logic of the king is quite interesting here, if you think about it. He's telling her, first of all, why are you staying here like a beggar? Come home, you're such a beautiful girl. And also not only beautiful, also intelligent. Sundara does not only mean external beauty. If you look at the meanings of Sundara, it means someone who has all the good qualities. Sushtu. Su here is the same, and dara means containing, having that. So having all the good qualities. So it's not just external beauty. I translated it as beauty, but it's not only external beauty. When we say Satyam Shivam Sundaram, we don't mean to say Shiva is like a beautiful, like a bodybuilder, right? We mean to say that he contains all the qualities. So here it's the same. So his argument is you have all these qualities, beauty, but also intelligence, nobility, and so on. You should become the princess, the wife of a prince, and then you can practice dharma happily, and with gifts of gold you can make people happy. And your punya will increase, or your punya will blossom, and through punya alone you will reach Hari. So the logic is quite powerful, isn't it? But then she says, Raja Kanya Abhiya vadati. So now we realize she is actually really the princess herself. She is his daughter. So Raja Kanya, the princess, Abhiya vadati. We had all this already. The princess Raja Kanya says, He Pita. Pita is the vocative, the Sambhotana of Pita, Pitri in the stem form. He Pita means, O Father. Krishna eva sundarattamah sarva lokanam nripa. And here we have to supply asti. Remember, when there is no verb, we supply asti. Krishna eva. Here again, I have left one of the sandhis for you to learn. Like we had before, jana hasanti. The visarga has fallen away. So this is another visarga rule, that when a visarga is followed by any vowel other than short a, when it's short a, there is a different rule. But any other vowel, a, I, u, ri, e, o, au, then the visarga also vanishes. This is called lopa. And then we just have Krishna eva. So Krishna eva sundarattamah sarvalokanam nripaha asti.
Acharyaji, if you don't mind, can you repeat the visarga is dropped because of...
Yes. So the rule is this, that when a visarga is followed by any vowel except the short a, then it's a different rule. Any other vowel, so a, I, u, ri, e, o, au, am, aha, when it's followed by any other vowel except the short a, then the visarga vanishes. So Krishna eva becomes Krishna eva.
Thank you.
And don't worry, there are also charts. But you see, my experience is that the more charts I send you, the more afraid you all become of Sanskrit. So, because then you're like the academics at the university who have a pile of charts like this, and after 40 years of Sanskrit, they still have the same pile, right? So it is better to learn the rules than to have the charts. So I can send you lots of charts. There are some chart philiacs, those who love charts. They can have all the charts, don't worry. My first Sanskrit student ever was a lover of charts, and he created an incredible booklet. I've shown this to many of you. I'll show you again. So you see here, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it? So he created this booklet, and it is filled with charts. See here? It's just charts, 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 charts. And this man was so brilliant. This is even Vedic charts. This is for Vedic forms. So he was so brilliant. So on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 pages, he summarized all of Sanskrit grammar, which I shared with him. He was so systematic in his mind, and he was 82. Think about it, right? So he was so systematic, and nobody has this booklet. I showed it to the professor at Zurich University, and she said, "Can we have this? Can we have this? This is brilliant. No one has this." And I'm still working on, we could print it properly. And of course, we can never ask for money for Sanskrit. So unfortunately, I won't become rich. We could become rich with this. I don't know, maybe. I'm just joking. But this man was brilliant. On just a few pages, he summarized all of Sanskrit grammar. Everything is there. Nothing is missing. So now our time is up. Maybe we can do the rest of the story. You can try at home. So maybe just one little hint. Tama means the utmost. So like in Hindi, Uttam. So Suddaratama just simply means the most beautiful. I think the rest of the story is quite clear, quite simple. Would you like to try the rest of the story at home? Let me paste it into the chat perhaps.
Acharya, is it possible to share this whole paragraph in the chat later by him?
Yes. She could share it also in the Sarvamangala chat. Yes, for sure. So you could try to do this story at home, the rest of the story. And please remember that anabhyase visham vidya. Anabhyasa is the opposite of abhyasa. So anabhyase visham vidya means that when there is no practice, vidya becomes visha. Visha means poison. Why? Why does it become poison? Because then you think you're learning Sanskrit, but because you're not practicing it, you're actually not learning Sanskrit. You're just attending this session and you're not really learning it, right? You're just attending the session. So remember that it would be great if you practiced the charts, meaning Rama Ramo, Rama Ramam, Palam Pale Palani, Palam Pale. Practice it. If you can't practice, at least put it on your fridge. Then you are the fridge students, right? You are put it on the fridge, but at least if you see it on the fridge, every time you open the fridge, you see Aya Ramena. And at some point, I won't have to ask you, what case is this? Oh, yes, it is 3-1. You just know, right? And I don't want to brag, but sometimes it is good to remind you, you see, you have to know these cases. Otherwise, how will you read a simple text like the Gita? You have to, right? Otherwise, you'll go through the Gita and you will go, oh, what is this? Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa. Oh, what is this? Oh, Mam. Right? And then you're just confused. But if you know the cases, then you have the solid basis. Then you go through the shlokas, and maybe it's still not that easy for you, but Sarvasya, right? Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. Sarvasya, yes, that is 6th case. Clear. Okay, aham, I know. Hridi, 7th case, in the heart. Nivishtaha, dwelling. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. Aha, Krishna is saying, I am present in the heart of all, right? Then you actually enjoy the text. If you don't know the cases, then you need someone like me, or you need someone else to explain you what it means. All right? So please practice, practice, practice. Age is no excuse. There is no excuse. I am an old man. I feel like 95 every morning, but still I'm learning by heart. Every day I'm still learning by heart. I've just learned by heart 10 very long shlokas, not short ones, long, and it still works very well. There is no excuse, okay? Hari Om, enjoy your rest of the weekend. I don't know if you have a long weekend as well, like we do. Enjoy and practice. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you. Purnamada. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.